Hey, what's up? This is Chosen, and this video is going to be diving into Lord Champfort and his insane ability to solo stuff, including the entire Nightmare campaign. So we're going to dive into that. Let's get into it. Alrighty, so first of all, I've heard other people kind of talking about this in the community. Shout out to my good friend Jay Giggs. People on my stream have been like, hey, you should build a Lord Champfort to solo Nightmare. And then I was like, okay, let's try this out. Let's take a look and see what's going on with this. And then when I started testing him in Nightmare, I was like, wow, this is pretty cool. This is worth doing a video on and really showing people the build and the utility that Lord Champfort can have in terms of progressing things. Because I think the community for a while thought Champfort wasn't very good. And a funny little backstory is Champfort is actually the first legendary that I ever fully invested in. Took the 6 stars, booked, and really used in all of my teams. He was the third legendary that I summoned. My first one was War Mother. My second one was Shamrock. My third legendary was Lord Champfort. And I was like, you know what? At this point, I'm going to invest in Lord Champfort. I'm not going to keep waiting months to finally use a legendary. So I'm going to go for it. I'm going to max him out. And he did actually help me progress pretty well in the game. I mean, he's got this aura here, lots of HP in dungeons. That's very good for helping you when you're at, you know, Dragon 8 or Dragon 9. You're trying to really progress. That big aura does actually help you a lot. And then he's got defense break on his A1. He scales with HP. Champions that scale with defense or HP are typically going to be good candidates for being very tanky and having the ability to 3-star content help you progress. Then he's got the AoE, decrease accuracy, and decrease attack. So that's going to make him super tanky. It's going to make him very resilient because it makes it a lot easier to resist things when you're decreasing their accuracy. To go along with his base resistance of 40, you can get his resistance to be pretty decent very easily when you couple it with the base resistance and this ability. And then also the decrease attack. He's already tanky, and then we're not only going to lower the accuracy, but also the big version of the decrease attack. So very good on the A2 there. And then he's got this passive here with a really low cooldown, especially when booked, to place a shield on himself constantly and then lower the speed of whoever breaks it. So he's insane for soloing content. He's basically designed to do it. He breaks defense, breaks attack, breaks accuracy, shields himself, lowers speed himself, has got a dungeon aura. And then if you get him in a set like an Immortal, he's going to be constantly healing himself and helping himself sustain to the point where you don't even need lifesteal. I was able to clear almost all of the Nightmare campaign. I didn't test every single stage, but I tested the majority of them. And I'll actually show you some footage of that stuff, and I'll speed it up so you can watch those levels pretty quickly. And he even did the last stage, 12-7, against the Morta Macabre Nightmare, 12-7, last stage of the game, solo. Now, it wasn't a 100% win rate. I think I did it like 5 or 6 times, and he soloed it. So it's probably like a 15-20% win rate or something. And I just had to wait for him to get some decent RNG, and he was able to burst down 12-7 completely solo. So yeah, great kit for soloing content. Now I will show you the stats and the build that I use him for before we dive into showing it in action. Alrighty, so here is the Lord Champfort. You can see the sets of the Perception, Immortal, and Speed. And then I will pop up the total stats just in case you are curious to see those. About 74,000 HP. The attack doesn't really matter. Remember, he scales with HP, so don't worry about that. 2,500 something defense, 226 speed, 78% crit rate, 205% crit damage, 194 resistance, and 226 accuracy. So a very sturdy, very generally built to be able to solo a bunch of different content. And this one build basically cleared the whole Nightmare campaign, which you'll see here in a little bit. Just in case you're curious about the gear, HP banner. If you don't have a good Great Hall, you may want to go accuracy there on the banner. And then you usually want to synergize your amulet and your gloves. If you're going to be going damage gloves like crit rate or crit damage, you probably want a crit damage amulet. Ring, we're obviously going to want the most HP we can get on there. I love cranking out lots of turns and going speed boots on him. And then obviously we're going to want HP on the chest almost always. You already saw the gloves, trying to make him do enough damage to be able to solo content at a decent speed. Shield, helm, and weapon are pretty self-explanatory. You're just trying to get your best blend of stats to synergize with your build, but there is those in case you were curious. Now, in terms of the skills, the booking process, my Lord Champfort is booked, remember, like I said, but he's one of the older school champions before they started making everything take 15 or 18 books. I think he is 4, 8, and 9. So he's not one of these Brachus or Pixneal that take 15, 18 books, something like that. He's a lot more reasonable in terms of booking him fully to reach the max potential than the Masteries that I used here. So when you're going to be playing a long battle, so you're soloing content or you're 3-starring content, using him to fight in the Nightmare campaign and help you progress, or even the Brutal campaign if you're a newer player or something, I like taking this Oppressor because he does place a lot of debuffs. He does it on both his A1, and then he does AoE, 2 different debuffs on his A2. So he's going to have this almost permanently of filling up the turn meter fill rate 10% more. When you've got him in a high-speed build and it's a long, sustained battle, that's going to be a lot of turn meter fill over the course of a few minutes on a run. So I wanted to try that out, and I kind of liked how it was working. There's other things that are viable. You can try Helm Smasher, War Master, crit damage. I mean, there's other things you can do, but I thought that was a fun one to try out, and I kind of liked how it worked. But there is those Masteries. I'll leave it up for just a couple seconds if you are wanting to take a look at those. Leave that there. And now let's go ahead and pop out here, and I will show you some of the footage. I'll walk you through kind of what's going on. So let's put that up, and let's do the footage. Now, I've got this at a ×5 speed so that we can get through it pretty quickly. And this is actually 12-3 Nightmare. Or maybe it was 12-6 Nightmare, but it was the stage that people farm on Nightmare. It was one of those, 12-3, 12-6, the one before the boss fight. And then after this, I will show you the boss fight, 12-7 Nightmare, the last stage of the game. And like I said, admittedly, this was not a 100% win rate, but he was able to chew through it. I think I did it 5 or 6 runs, and he was able to blast through, get good enough RNG. You can see him staying at basically max HP the whole time, and I've just got the 1 immortal set on him. No lifesteal, nothing. And then you'll see here, this is the boss on Nightmare, 12-7, and bang. As long as you can just do it a couple times until you get the right rolls, he was able to go ahead and solo it. Imagine how much easier it would be if I would have actually used 2 champions to help him out there. And then this boss fight can be tough. This is the War Chief with the Rhyme Beast and the Steel Skull. I thought it might be a little bit interesting for him because he doesn't have heal reduction or anything. I was wondering if he'd be able to chew through it, and he was able to. Then this is the Bad El Khazar boss fight. I was wondering if he would be able to get through this one, so I wanted to show this in the video, and of course, it's always fun to show a Bad El Khazar fight, so figured I'd throw that one in there. But yeah, you know, this only takes a couple minutes. I just wanted to show you how it looks in action of him just sitting here and soloing stuff. And then I think I also show the this is a recording, so I'm trying to remember exactly how it goes, but I think I show the Valkyrie stage, which is insanely tough on Nightmare, and is really a sticking point for a lot of people, where you've got the Valkyries doing the shielding and the counterattacking. Yeah, right here, and you'll see like it takes a while, but he's able to get it down no problem. We've also got Force, 2 Force champions here, so it could be a pretty potentially tough stage for him. That's why I want to make sure I tested this one, but he's able to just kind of slowly sustain, whittle them down. He's basically always at max HP. They've all got counterattack, doesn't matter. He's got the self-shielding. Breaking defense is insanely good against Valkyrie. He's got that on his A1. And it's just kind of a matter of time, a slow squeeze. It might take 3 or 4 minutes, but if you give him time, you build him right, he's able to solo some of this content and keep right on going. And then I think I also show him in one of the later stages, like stage 11, going up against a bunch of Force enemies. I believe that's like the next one. Yeah, okay, so you've got like Skull Crown and Senesha, I think. You've got a Hegemon, kind of a tough stage here to go up against, but you get him built sturdy enough, it's not a problem. He's got that base of 40 resistance, which comes in handy. Here you can see a full stack of 4 Force enemies, and it's one of the later stages in Nightmare, so I did want to show that as well, to show that even if he's a weak affinity, you have faith in him, get him built right, get him invested in, he will be able to do it. Yeah, here's the Senesha and the Skull Crown and the Hegemon. That's kind of a tough wave there on Nightmare to deal with. But in just over 3 minutes, he's able to take it down. And then I also wanted to show a solo Ice Golem 20 run where he can slot in and just make it happen. Now this is probably the only one that I would ever try to like have him solo in this context. He's not going to be able to solo like the Dragon or the Fire Knight, I wouldn't think, but he can definitely sit here and sustain the Golem and shoot through it. And honestly, he performs as good as most like early to mid game teams right here with this build. That might take like 3 or 4 minutes on the Golem. He's able to sit here and shoot through it and get it down. And I think it ended up being like just over 4 minutes or something. Maybe not even quite. I can't remember the exact time, but I thought it'd be fun to show you the solo Ice Golem run here too. He just sits there at max health the whole time, and he doesn't have any lifesteal, like I said, just the 1 immortal set, the 2 pieces of perception, and the 2 pieces of speed. And he keeps those debuffs up to help him fill that turn meter rate. And like I said, that oppressor mastery, you can get a lot of value out of that when you've got a fight that's lasting that long. You got a 4 or 5 minute fight, and that's a lot of turn meter fill you're getting from that mastery. So I thought it'd be fun to showcase that mastery as well, because I don't see a whole lot of people use that in action too often. But yeah, that's gonna do it for this one. Just a fun little video I wanted to throw out there and portray to you guys some research and some things that I come across, and kind of some experiences that I have in terms of grinding things out. When I learn about something, I want to share it with you. Now, do remember, full disclosure, remember, I've got a great haul. I've got good gear. So it is going to be tough for you to replicate those exact results. But I just wanted to showcase what Lord Champfort is capable of in the end game if he's invested in, and he's really not as bad as the community makes him out to be. Now, he's not an S tier champion. He's not Sify or Battle Khazar or Krisk or something. I'm not saying that. I'm saying this was something cool that I kind of came across and I've heard about, and I wanted to finally dive in, test it myself, and then give you guys my opinion. But yeah, I had a lot of fun doing it, and I think Lord Champfort has got some potential to do some pretty cool things if you get him built with good gear and kind of develop him properly. So I wanted to share with you guys. But that's going to do it. As always, thank you for watching. Have a great rest of your day. Happy holidays. Peace.